Episode 14, The Aztec Empire, the Empire of the Fifth Sun approximately 1300 to 1521 CE. From prophecy to power, an empire built on belief, blood and brilliance. Segment 1, In the Shadow of Prophecy. The Aztec story begins with a journey one forged through divine visions and ancestral memory. According to Aztec tradition, their ancestors, the Mexica people, originated from a mythical homeland called Aztlan. Guided by omens and the god Huitzilopochtli, they wandered for generations, seeking the sign that would reveal their promised land, an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. That vision finally appeared on the marshy shores of Lake Texcoco around 1325. There, amid swamplands and reeds, the Mexica began building what would become one of the most awe-inspiring cities of the ancient world, Tenochtitlan. What began as a modest settlement on an island grew into the spiritual and political heart of the Aztec Empire, a civilization that saw itself not merely as a kingdom but as the divine stewards of a cosmic order. Segment 2, City of the Gods, Heart of the Empire. Tenochtitlan was a marvel of engineering, with a population that may have exceeded 100,000. It rivaled and perhaps surpassed the cities of Europe in both scale and sophistication. The city was connected to the mainland by causeways, protected by dikes and canals, and nourished by Chinampa's artificial agricultural islands floating on the lake's surface. These gardens provided year-round food in abundance. At its center stood the Templo Mayor, a grand twin pyramid structure that symbolized the Aztec view of the universe. One half was dedicated to Huitzilopochtli, the god of sun and war, the other to Tlaloc, the god of rain and fertility. These dual forces, destruction and renewal, shaped every aspect of Aztec life. Around the temple pulsed a bustling metropolis filled with markets, palaces and ceremonial spaces, all woven into a grid that reflected both order and divine symmetry. Segment 3, A Warrior Society. The Aztec world revolved around conquest and tribute. Their empire was an intricate web of alliances and subjugated city-states, each required to send goods, cacao, feathers, textiles, gold, obsidian and more back to the imperial capital. At the heart of this imperial machine were the warriors. From a young age, Aztec boys were trained for combat, and military success brought both honor and upward mobility. Capturing enemies in battle was considered more valuable than killing them. The captives played a central role in religious rites. There existed prestigious military orders, the Eagle Warriors and the Jaguar Warriors, whose elite members were adorned in striking animal costumes, symbols of strength, ferocity, and spiritual power. Segment 4, Blood for the Sun. No aspect of Aztec civilization is more misunderstood or more central to its worldview than human sacrifice. To the Aztecs, the universe was a delicate balance constantly threatened by chaos. Their cosmology told of previous worlds each destroyed, and that they now lived in the fifth sun. To keep this sun alive, it had to be nourished with the most sacred of offerings, human blood and hearts. Sacrificial rituals were carried out with meticulous precision and deep reverence. Prisoners of war, selected nobles, and even volunteers were sometimes offered to the gods. The Templo Mayor became the stage for these powerful rites, where priests, adorned in black or red and wielding obsidian blades, enacted the divine contract between humanity and the cosmos. While these rituals may seem brutal to modern eyes to the Aztecs, they were acts of profound cosmic duty vital to the survival of the world. Segment 5, Knowledge, Art and Myth. The Aztecs were more than warriors and priests. They were also scholars, artisans, astronomers and poets. Their codices, folding books made of bark paper or deerskin, recorded everything from royal lineages to market transactions, from calendars to religious ceremonies. Though many were burned by the Spanish, surviving codices provide a vivid glimpse into Aztec life. The Aztecs used two calendar systems simultaneously, the 260-day ritual calendar and the 365-day solar calendar. Every 52 years, the cycles aligned, marking a moment of cosmic renewal and existential fear, for it was believed that the world might end if the gods were not properly honored. Art flourished in many forms: stone carvings, goldsmithing, featherwork, and poetry. Aztec artisans transformed natural materials into intricate works imbued with meaning. while court poets sang of love, loss, war, and the sacred. Segment 6. Education and social structure. Aztec society was highly stratified, yet surprisingly organized. At the top stood the Tlatoani, the supreme ruler, regarded as both a political leader and a sacred intermediary. Beneath him was a hierarchy of nobles, warriors, priests, and judges, each bound by duty and tradition. Education was not a privilege of the elite alone. Both boys and girls received formal education, a rarity in the ancient world. Boys attended schools known as Kolmakak or Telpochcali, depending on their social status. In these institutions, they studied religion, history, warfare, astronomy, and the art of public speaking. Girls were taught domestic arts, religion, and midwifery. Some exceptional women could become priestesses or doctors, and noble daughters often received more extensive instruction. The Aztec legal system was intricate, with a network of courts that imposed strict punishments but also respected due process. Crimes such as theft, adultery, or drunkenness could carry severe penalties, particularly for the nobility, who were expected to embody moral virtue. Segment 7. The flowering of trade and tribute. Commerce played a vital role in sustaining the Aztec Empire. Markets, or tianguis, thrived in every major city, offering everything from obsidian blades and woven mats to cacao beans and turquoise jewelry. The largest of these, in Tlatelolco, was visited daily by tens of thousands. Barter was the main form of transaction, though cacao beans and cotton cloths also functioned as currency. Merchants, or pochteka, traveled vast distances, serving as both traders and spies. Their expeditions brought luxury goods from distant provinces, jade from the south, copper from the west, and salt from the coasts. In return, the empire demanded tribute. Each conquered region was required to send goods, labor, and warriors to Tenochtitlan on a strict schedule. This system filled imperial storehouses and kept the nobility adorned in splendor, while simultaneously reminding subjects of their subordination. Segment 8. The world of gods and spirits. The Aztec pantheon was vast and dynamic, with hundreds of deities embodying every force of nature and aspect of life. Chief among them were Huitzilopochtli, the sun and war god, Tlaloc, the rain god, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent of wind, wisdom, and renewal, and Tezcatlipoca, the god of fate and sorcery. Temples rose high in their honor, painted in vivid colors and tended by a powerful priesthood. Rituals, festivals, and offerings marked the calendar with celestial precision. Each month was dedicated to a specific god, celebrated with elaborate dances, fasts, and ceremonies. The spiritual world was woven into the fabric of daily life. Omens, dreams, and signs in the natural world were closely watched. Diviners and shamans were consulted before decisions. Death, too, was not an end but a transformation, where one's fate in the afterlife depended not on morality, but on how they died. Warriors slain in battle or sacrifice accompanied the sun in its daily journey. Women who died in childbirth joined the spirits of dusk. Others traveled to the underworld, Mictlan, a shadowy realm ruled by the death gods. Segment 9. The Spanish arrival. By the early 16th century, the Aztec Empire was at its peak, stretching from the Gulf Coast to the Pacific and encompassing millions of people. Yet beneath the surface, cracks had begun to form. Discontent simmered in conquered territories. The empire's reliance on tribute and sacrificial victims bred resentment. These undercurrents would become fatal when a new force arrived from across the sea in 1519. Hernan Cortés landed on the eastern shores of the Yucatan Peninsula. Initially perceived as potential allies or even gods, the Spanish made their way inland, forging alliances with enemies of the Aztecs, most notably the Tlaxcalans. Moctezuma II, the reigning Tlatoani, watched anxiously. Torn between suspicion and spiritual uncertainty, he allowed the Spaniards into Tenochtitlan. For a brief, tense moment, two worlds coexisted, one forged in obsidian and myth, the other in steel and greed. But peace shattered. In 1520, the massacre at the Templo Mayor and Moctezuma's death ignited rebellion. The Spanish fled the city during La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows, only to return with reinforcements and a devastating weapon, smallpox, Segment 10, Fall of the Sun, echoes through time. The final siege of Tenochtitlan in 1521 was brutal. The canals that once fed the city became battlegrounds. The markets fell silent. The temples burned. The people starved. After 93 days of resistance, the Aztec capital was reduced to rubble. With the fall of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec Empire crumbled. What rose in its place was a colonial regime that would reshape the Americas forever. Yet the memory of the Mexica did not vanish. Their language, Nahuatl, is still spoken by over 1 million people. Their gods live on in folklore. Their poetry, etched in codices and remembered in song, continues to echo the beauty, fear, and wisdom of a people who saw themselves as living at the center of a cosmic struggle. The Aztecs were not just conquerors, architects, or astronomers. They were the keepers of the fifth sun, and though their empire has fallen, the rhythm of their world still pulses through the stones of ancient Tenochtitlan and the hearts of their descendants, and so their voices fade into silence once more. But the stones they raised, the stories they etched into earth, and memory still whisper beneath our feet. Thank you for joining us on this chapter of Whispers of the Ancients. Until next time, may the past continue to speak, and may we continue to listen.